Hey everybody. Real quick before starting this video, I just wanted to give a little bit of a preemptive apology for the audio quality and the audio mixing in particular. I guess I didn't realize that I didn't have my OBS settings set up correctly. And so a lot of my audio in particular is going to sound muffled, especially when the video audio is playing. So sometimes you'll be able to see my lips move, but you'll barely be able to hear what I'm saying. I'm not proud of it, and there's unfortunately very little I can do about it. I will definitely put in the effort to. I had my audio settings figured out at one point, and it just got messed up at some point, and it's not, or maybe like OBS updated and changed how it works, and so it's just not functioning the same way it used to. Because I don't recall touching those settings. But I'm not going to make excuses. I didn't have it set up properly. That's on me. And, you know, I will try to be better next time. But yeah, just please bear with me through this video. I'm honestly, even with the audio problems, I still like how this video turned out for the most part. But I just wanted to give a little bit of like a pre-apology for my audio quality during this video. I will try to be better next time. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, and welcome to my den. I'm Kane and today we are here with something a little different. So, for a bit of a peek behind the curtain, the other night, well, I've never really intended to be a reaction streamer or a reaction, content creator or anything. And I certainly don't want that to be, like, exclusively what I make. That's why I rarely do it on stream or anything. But, the other night on stream, I did it with, a video that my friend Panda sent me in DMs. I went ahead and reacted that on stream real quick. And I had a really fun time doing it. I do enjoy doing the occasional reaction thing. So for this one, I'm not streaming for this. I'm just doing it on my own time. And the awkward thing about doing a lot of reaction content is that I don't know how much to really do, because obviously there's that whole thing against pre-watching stuff and everything and trying to fake reactions when you know it's going to happen and stuff, and I obviously don't want to do that. But a lot of the videos that I would like to react to on camera are videos I've already seen kind of either just on my own time or through other people's reactions. It's like the amount of Bisley videos that I would love to do reaction videos for is unreal, but I already, watched a bunch of them. I pretty much already watched the bulk of the ones I'm interested in, so we'll just have to make do with what we have. But it's certainly an option to react to new videos that he puts out. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to be for a while. The most recent one he did was that Assassin's Creed 4 remake one. That was really cool, and I watched that one already on my own time at my day job, so I don't want to react to that. I don't want to do a video reacting to that one because it just wouldn't feel authentic, You understand. You understand. Anyway, here today I'm reacting to everyone else's starter Pokemon by another one of my favorite content creators, MandJTV. Fantastic creator. The link to the original video will be in the description, of course. And yeah, I haven't seen this yet. I've seen a lot of his videos. I watched the entirety of Team Sky a million times over. Actually, just recently was when I finally got around to watching the Legends EA and Ultra Moon videos and stuff, because I hadn't beaten Legends EA yet, so I didn't want to spoil myself for that. So I waited a long time on that one. And then Ultra Moon, I waited on just because I hadn't seen the Legends EA video yet, and I wasn't sure if it would have I wasn't sure if it would have spoilers or anything. As far as I can remember, it didn't really. Maybe a little bit, but not many. But yeah, this is his newest video. It just came out yesterday at the time of this recording. I haven't seen it yet, so here we go with this. Oh, and just for clarity's sake, I will be if I feel it necessary to like pause or anything during the video, I'm gonna do that. That's a type of reaction content I honestly kind of prefer. As long as they don't yap too long or anything, I tend to prefer that sort of thing where they pause and like talk about their experiences and like their like whatever they have to say instead of just like missing giant chunks of the videos. And you know, just not even reacting because they're just yapping over it the whole time. There's nothing more frustrating than if you've seen a video before and you want to see your favorite content creator's like reaction to it or something. There's nothing more frustrating than when they just talk over it. They're just talking the entire time over the video, and like maybe there's a specific part of the video that you were excited to see the reaction to, and they're just talking over it. They don't even acknowledge it. They don't even notice it. I can't think. I watch a lot of reaction content. I can't think of anything more frustrating than that, so I'm going to try to mitigate that as best I can. Here we go.
In most Pokemon games, you just so happen to live very close to the region's professor, either in the same town or one nearby, letting you walk right into their lab and pick out a fancy, rare starter Pokemon. Even in the games where you begin farther away, someone brings the trio right to you. Check your privilege! Not everyone can be the main character. And for those that aren't, what do they do? What are their starter Pokemon? I'm gonna go through.
I was honestly genuinely curious what this video is gonna be about when I saw a title. But that is a very interesting, like, topic for a video, yeah. Like, maybe going over, like, Pokemon found on various routes or whatever, and, like, what people would probably be using just based on what's available if they don't have access to, like, the proper starters and stuff. Because for whatever reason, the professors of any given region only ever have, like, the 3. Or, like, the 1 of each starter. And without breeding, there's no way to get any more. Except for, like, in, you know... I think Legends Arceus lets you get more, just in the wild. I think Legends EA might. I haven't done much of Legends EA's like post game or anything, but like in every wild zone that I'd done, I completed all of them except for like the last one that unlocks in the post game. So like in none of the wild zones give you access to like the other starters or anything. So it's interesting.
Every town in the Kanto region to figure out what the starter trio would be for a trainer beginning there. No professor, no imported rare Pokemon, and no special treatment. Just locals working with what they've got. First is Viridian City, and its trio is the same. It's close enough to Pallet Town that the trainers in Viridian could just walk down the road and get a starter from Professor Oak, much like Twinleaf to Sandgem Town. Pewter City is where things get interesting. Blocked in by a forest to the south and a mountain to the east, no fledgling trainer devoid of Pokemon could make it all the way to Pallet. They need their Pokemon to be locally sourced. Viridian Forest is a significant landmark that borders the city, but I don't want to select any Pokemon from there. Not only are most of them horribly weak bugs, but it doesn't really fit Pewter's vibe. Let me read to you its blurb from Let's Go. The stone city that rests at the foot of a great rocky mountain. This is a rugged, tough place. Look at their gym leader. He's shirtless and ripped. Boulder badge? More like boulder shoulders. If the adults are gonna go out and...
Boulder shoulders, oh my god. Okay, that, pausing already. Yeah, I can definitely get behind that. Like, it's the rock city, you know, you probably want a rock type. Is it going to help you against Brock's gym specifically? No, probably not, but theoretically you don't have to fight Brock first, you know? You, the player, do because it's on your way and the game's linear in that sort of thing. But like, that one guy stops you from going east to Mount Moon and everything. But like, is he gonna do that? The question is he gonna do that for like a, what's it called? Is he gonna do that for like some local from Pewter City, you know? Is he gonna just stop any random passerby like that's from Pewter City on their way to Mount Moon, even if they haven't fought Brock yet. It's like, hey, you're new here, aren't you? You should go see the gym and fight the gym leader there. Bro, we go to school together. I just saw you in class yesterday. You know, it's like, what's gonna happen if you're already a local to Pewter City, and you just want to go east to catch like a Nidoran or some shit? You know, that's a question nobody's asked, and they should be. Oh, god damn it! Fucking webcam's been acting up lately. Sorry about that. I hope that doesn't happen too much. I don't know how long I was like that before I noticed it. But yeah, I wonder if like maybe the cable that I use to connect the iPhone to my computer is like busted or something. I have no idea. I need to look into that. But yeah.
Catch starter Pokemon for their kid that they can be proud of. They're not gonna catch a squishy little bug. They're gonna catch something hard. The Pewter Museum could be a source of Pokemon like that. The 3 Kanto fossil Pokemon are all rock type, and how cool would it be to get an extinct starter from a museum? Big problem though,
the fossils are only found in Mount Moon, I'm gonna guess, is the first problem. And also, I mean, Ammonite and Kabuto are both water types, so they would actually be pretty useful against Brock, now that I think about it. Because aren't all of Brock's Pokemon 4 times weak to rock? Or 4 times weak to water? I think they are, because he has, what, two Geodudes and Onix? All of his Pokemon are rock ground type. A drop of rain lands on them and they're going down, you know? So Ammonite and Kabuto would be very useful for Brock's gym, if they can even get to that part. You need Cut to get in there, don't you? And you don't get Cut until the SSN. Oh, and you're yeah, and if you leave Mount Moon area and get into Cerulean, you're not getting back to Pewter City for a long time after that too. I just realized that. Okay. Just a moment. Alright, sorry about that. Had to step away for a moment, but I'm back now.
the fossil revival technology is not there. It's way south on Cinnabar Island, so sadly no fossil starters.
Wait, really? I mean, I guess in, like, one of the actual Kanto games, that'd be true. I thought it was, in that... No, wait, that's where you get the old Amber. That's right, that's right. And maybe in, like, Heart Gold Soul Silver, that's where the Fossil Revival thing is, because Cinnabar Island is gone. I don't know.
Okay, technically you...
Leave it to my computer to find some way to screw everything up when I'm trying to record. First time I tried to record in, like, weeks, and... Of course, this is the day that everything has to screw up. Thankfully, the original recording still works, so we'll just pick up from there.
This means there's just one direction left, east to Mount Moon. Route 3 and Mount Moon combined have quite a wide swath of Pokemon to choose from, but many like Pidgey, Spearow, the Nidorans, and Rattata are extremely commonplace all over the region. If you're selecting starters for the next crop of Pewter youth, wouldn't you want them to use Pokemon that show how special Pewter City is? To me, Geodude is a no-brainer. It's a rock type, rugged and tough, plentiful in Mount Moon, and is a show of respect toward Brock. Next, we have to go with Zubat, another iconic cave Pokemon. Sure, it's not as rugged as Geodude, but Golbat sucks a lot of blood. That's a different kind of rugged. For the final member, Clefairy is a strong candidate. After all, Mount Moon is named after moon stones, and Clefairy throw it back for those things.
I love the editor's note. The Clefairy, what? If the editor's note didn't say it, I was going to, because that is funny. But yeah, it's very true. Clefairy... I mean, wasn't Clefairy almost the mascot, actually? Of, like, the whole series, before it was Pikachu? I believe it was. Although at this point, the series kind of has a few different mascots depending on how you look at it, just from general like exposure and favoritism. I swear, Charizard has gotten so much stuff. You would think Charizard was the series mascot. Every new gimmick, it's always gotten something, maybe even multiple things. Anyway, but yeah, I could absolutely see Clefairy possibly being a Pewter City starter. Or Geodude makes sense too, although I don't think it's going to help you very much against Brock. But you also... a lot of like the side content, a lot of like the supplemental media has shown gym leaders having different teams depending on when you fight them and how many badges you have and stuff. So you very well could start in Pewter City and just not fight Brock first, go fight somebody else, and then come back. And when you have a more varied team that could deal with them. Because, yeah, especially in pre-like... I mean, obviously pre-Gen 6, but like the only other game after that to even have Kanto in it, I believe, was Gen 7, you know, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And before that, any Kanto game that had, like any Kanto game, Clefairy was normal type, which is resisted by Rock, so Clefairy wouldn't have been super useful against that. And I believe, doesn't Rock also resist Rock? I could look it up right now, but I'm gonna just put an editor's note here if it doesn't. But yeah, so there's a lot to like worry about here. Also, any flying types are an automatic no-go because they're weak to Rock. So I mean, you could go ahead and do it if you want, but they're not going to be super useful to you, you know. So it's just like you're in for a challenge if you do that one. But yeah.
However, I'm not choosing Clefairy for several reasons. First, it's quite rare. Some adults may go the extra mile, but generally common Pokemon will be far more practical. Second, it doesn't really fit the rugged vibe I'm seeking here. Does this look rugged to you? But more importantly, I have some boxes that I'll be looking to check for most of the starter trios in this video. Geodude and Zubat check both of them, while Clefairy checks neither. The first is a 3-stage line, like typical starters. Geodude and Zubat.
It's not one interruption, it's another day, I swear.
Have this. And yes, I am allowing cross-gen evolutions because it's more fun this way. I want to be clear though, this is not mandatory. Later in this video, I will choose several 2-stage Pokemon because they just fit a lot better overall. Clefairy does actually have a 3-stage line, but it's the middle stage. Now, of course, I could fudge this a little bit and say that the starter is Cleffa instead, but there's still that other box that alongside Geodude and Zubat, Clefairy does not tick. That being a type triangle. A type triangle is a group of 3 types where each is super effective against one and weak to the other, in a rock, paper, scissors triangle. Grass, fire, water is a very famous example, but it's not the only one. There are actually quite a lot of them, and it'll be fun to try to make them happen as often.
Let's see, steel, rock, fire. Never thought of it like that, but that's interesting, yeah. Ice, flying, fighting, bug, grass, rock. Yes, that's true. That is true. Electric, water, ground. Yeah, all of these make sense. I've just never thought about it. You know, fighting, dark, psychic. Yeah, a lot of more recent starter trios will typically have those 3, like, or at least some variants of those 3 as like secondary types. You know, Gen 9 is the most recent game at the time of this recording, you know. What was the final evolution? You know, Skeledirge, Fire Ghost, Quackquavel, Water Fighting, which might actually be the first Water Fighting starter, actually, now that I think about it. I don't remember for sure. Also, I hope you guys don't hear it, but like, there's just so much, like, there's so much noise outside my room right now that is just so distracting. Yeah, it's like the mic is barely picking it up, but I don't know if you can hear it. and hopefully, I'll be putting like background music and stuff over this, so hopefully that'll drown it out too. And then for some reason I want to say Florigato, but like that's the second one. What was the third evolution? Gen 9. Masquerada. Masquerada, that's what it was. Yeah, Masquerada's Grass Dark. So, yeah. Grass Dark, Fire Ghost, and Water Fighting. So, yeah, that's another prime example of like 3 evolutions that like their secondary types are a whole separate type triangle. The reverse type triangle, actually, because Dark is strong against Ghost, Ghost is strong against Fighting, and Fighting is strong against Dark. Which feels like what they attempted to do in like Gen 4, but low-key kind of failed. Although actually, I think Gen 4, what they were trying to do was mostly have the secondary types of each final stage or final evolution starter cancel out the weaknesses that they previously had. So they're all kind of equal, but they really aren't. All that really happened was Empoleon gained a weakness to Infernape and gained a second weakness to Torterra. It's like it was already weak in one sense, now it's weak in another. Although I guess the steel does cancel out the grass, but you know, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. But yeah. And then, you know, in Gen 7, because Gen 8, weirdly enough, all the starters started monotype and ended monotype. I feel like it's actually one of the only... It's not the only gen to do that, but it's like one of the only ones. That happens much more rarely than you think. I think the only other time that happened that I can remember is like Gen 2, I think. Every other instance, one or more of them ended up dual type if it wasn't already. Like Gen 1, Bulbasaur, I believe, right out the gate is grass poison. Charmander is pure fire, but Charizard is fire flying, and then Squirtle's the only one that starts monotype water, and Blastoise remains monotype water. Like, it never gains any secondary type or anything. Like, it's weird when you sit down and think about it and realize that that happens as rarely as it does, you know? The only other time I can think of it is, you know, Gen 2, like I said, the starter trio on that. Typhlosion, Feraligatr, Meganium. All of them start monotype, fire, water, grass. All of them stay monotype, fire, water, grass. In Legends Arceus, you know, Typhlosion gained the ghost typing, the Hisuian Typhlosion, and then in Gen 9 Legends EA, Mega Meganium was Grass Fairy, and Mega Feraligatr was Water Dragon. So they all did eventually get secondary types, but it's weird that they're one of the only examples in the entire franchise of a starter trio being monotype and remaining that singular type the entire way through. But yeah, Gen 7, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, you know, Litten, Poplio, and God, I'm so bad at remembering names today. The owl one, Rowlet. You know, those all ended up with secondary types that were super effective against the one they were previously weak to, without just trying to cancel it out and kind of failing. Because like, you know, Incineroar is Fire Dark, which makes absolutely no sense. It is a luchador, or not a luchador. It's a wrestler. It's like a more American style professional wrestler, right? if there's one singular fire starter in the entire game, in the entire franchise that I would expect to be a fighting type, it's that one, and that's one of the only ones that isn't. Yeah, it's Fire Dark. Primarina is Water Fairy, I believe, and Decidueye, at least in that game, is Grass Ghost. You know. Ghost is weak to Fairy, but strong against... No. Wait. Hold on a second. Okay, no, Ghost is neutral to Fairy. The Fairy is strong against Dark. And then Dark is strong against Ghost. Why did they do that? That's so weird. Anyway, I've been rambling long enough.
As I can. Additionally, bonus points if the type triangle is perfect. This means that not only are the types strong in one direction, but they're resisted in the opposite. Many of the more famous type triangles you see are not perfect, since an immunity or missing resistance screws them up. There are very few perfect type triangles, but one of them just so happens to be rock, flying, fighting. By choosing a fighting type, I would make Pewter's trio perfect. And luckily for us, we have a great one.
Or even on the
Mankey! It's consistently found on Route 3, and it absolutely fits our...
Wait, really? I knew that Mankey was found on the route leading to the Pokemon League, west of Viridian. I don't remember Mankey being in Route 3.
Tough, rugged theme.
That's
Look at Primeape! You want to know what's tough? Getting so angry you die! Hell yeah! Plus, thanks to Annihilate, Mankey is part of a 3-stage line. The only downside is that Zubat 4 times resists fighting, not 2 times. But we can live with that. We're gonna have to live with a lot worse as this video goes on. So these are your Pewter City starters. 1 from the foothills, 2 from the mountain cave. Frankly, I think they're perfect, and I can only hope to match their greatness for as many of the other towns as I can. Ha! It is I, Grunty Boy! Whoa, sleeveless? I didn't realize Team Rocket's dress code allowed that. Shush! It doesn't! It's just been so unbearably hot. If I wear the long sleeves, I'll die. That is completely true. Although with this heat, I bet you're making good use of your essential open earbuds from Raycon, the sponsor of this video. You know it! They sit just outside my ear canal, giving me clear sound while still being aware of what's around me. They also let the air flow nicely. My canals get sweaty. Ew. But again, totally true. Despite sitting outside your ear, the sound quality is great, and the ear hook is light, comfortable, and secure. I've been wearing mine during my weightlifting. It's nice to be able to enjoy my music without becoming unaware in a public place. Speaking of weightlifting, you're looking buff. Been working out? No, actually. Man, screw you. With over 3 million Raycon customers, a 30-day guarantee, and sound quality as good as much pricier brands, the Essential Open Earbuds are a great option for everyday listening. Click the link in the description below, or go to buyraycon.com/MandJTV open to get 20% off. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring. But anyways, you seriously haven't been working out? No, I've been working inside. Because it's so hot. We talked about this. Ugh, away with you. Okay. But just please don't tell boss about the tank top. He'll punish me with a 3-piece suit. Ta-ta!
What?
Next, let's travel to Cerulean City.
Just a bit about me. I don't like formal wear at all. So that would be a punishment for me. I'm not sure why Grunty Boy would care. Is that really that big of a deal for him? He would be, at that point, he would be Admini Boy. Or Grunty Man. No, it'd be Admini Boy.
A beautiful city with flowing water and blooming flowers. Thanks to that description and Misty's prominence, a water-type Pokemon should be our first target. And, as you might imagine, There are a lot of those. Across the city itself, plus routes 4, 5, 24, and 25, the routes near the city that don't require cut to access, you can find an enormous swath of water Pokemon. There were so many, I had to build a spreadsheet tracking the encounter generations and methods for each of them. By the way, I did limit fishing to just the old and good rod because those would be the easiest ones to get, or just any regular person.
To this day, I have no idea where the old or good rods are in any of the Gen 1 games or any of the Kanto games. When I played through Leaf Green on the Switch, I just completely missed those and got the Super Rod when it became available. I have no idea where the old or good rods are. I do not talk to NPCs very often in games, if you haven't noticed from my streams.
Surprisingly, Magikarp is the most consistent appearance, but it is a terrible starter. Gyarados is clearly fantastic, but Magikarp is so weak that you're never gonna win enough battles to ever properly level it up. Unless you're a Pokemon YouTuber doing a challenge run, but the Cerulean children are not that. Of the remaining water types, the only Pokemon to appear in at least 3 gens are Goldeen, Psyduck, and Poliwag. But
I have to imagine if you're doing a challenge like that, you'd probably want to you'd have to use up every use of Splash and then just keep potions handy so you can just struggle everything to death. That's the only way I can think to make that work.
Psyduck and Poliwag each have an edge over Goldeen. Psyduck is the only one to appear on land, making it easier to find, and Poliwag is part of a 3-stage line. Also, Seeking is terrible. Golduck and Poliwrath/Politoed are not. Between Psyduck and Poliwag, though, I prefer Poliwag thanks to its 3-stage line. Now let's look at our type triangles. Water is only part of 2. The original...
They really should give Golduck an evolution. I would be most interested in one that's actually Psychic type. Because many of both of Psyduck and Golduck's dex entries mention it having psychic abilities, and yet it has never been Psychic type at all. That is so weird. Plus, Golduck is pretty cool, but stats-wise, it is honestly mid at best. You have no reason to use it past mid to early late game, generally, at least in a meta sense. Obviously, the games are generally easy enough that you can just get away with using whatever you want in a story playthrough for the most part, but I don't know, I feel like a Final Evolution should be a little bit stronger. I don't know.
And water, ground, electric. The latter one is impossible. Not one electric type appears anywhere near Cerulean City. But this is okay because the blurb mentioned blooming flowers, so grass is a solid fit. Oddish and Bellsprout appear north of Cerulean on routes 24 and 25 in literally every generation, usually as version-exclusive counterparts. These are the obvious top candidates. But which one wins out? I'm going with Oddish for 2 reasons. First, the mention of blooming flowers. Vileplume and Blossom have those, Victory Bell does not. Second, it has a split evolution like Poliwag, so there's a nice parallel there.
God, I hate Murphy's Law. I swear, everything that can go wrong right now is going wrong. It's so frustrating. I might have to actually take a break from trying to do this recording and actually go to work and do my day job and all that other shit, and then come back and finish this later. Because I don't know if I'll have time at this point. I had plenty of time when I started, and then it's been one problem after another. This is ridiculous. But for now, let's keep going.
Commander is a rare spawn on Route 4, but not doing that, obviously. And then Moltres can appear in the sky all over, but again, obviously no. On Route 5, south of town, Growlithe appears in Let's Go Pikachu, while Vulpix appears in Let's Go Eevee. These are clearly the best choices, and I'm selecting Vulpix. It and Ninetales' regal appearance fits the vibe of Cerulean more, in my opinion. Not a 3-stage line, but when choosing between that and a type triangle, I'm gonna prioritize the type triangle. 3 stages is just simply too limiting. So behold, Poliwag, Oddish, and Vulpix are your Cerulean starters. Now let's dip under Saffron, like we do in the games, and head to Vermilion City, the international port town where magnificent boats gather from across the world. Port town. Gotta have another water starter, but ideally a more oceanic one this time. Again, a ton of options, but what could help me decide is locking in the other two. I could go with the original type triangle and mimic Cerulean. Oddish, Bellsprout, Growlithe, and Vulpix all spawn on Route 6 in at least one game. So I could go with a new water type, plus Bellsprout and Growlithe to change up the trio. But honestly, I think that'd be kinda boring. I wanna make each town's trio feel really unique to that place. So just mostly copy-pasting Ceruleans wouldn't accomplish that. The other option is water, ground, electric. And we do have a couple options for ground. Sandshrew, which spawns on Route 11 to the east, and Diglett, thanks to, of course, Diglett's Cave.
Sandshrew and by extension Sandslash are Pokemon that I really wish were better. Because they just aren't. They are not very good. And I love Sandslash's design. And Sandshrew is cute. I would love to pet one. But like, they're just not good Pokemon.
Electric is more limited. None spawn nearby in the Kanto games, but in the post-game of the Johto games, Magnemite appears both on Route 6 and 11, which makes sense considering all the engineers on the ladder. So let's lock in Magnemite as our electric starter. 3 stages is very nice. As for the ground one,
Even though one of those 3 stages can't be obtained in Kanto? Maybe he'll justify it later. I'm not sure.
have to give it to Diglett. Dugtrio, sadly, has overall very low stats, but Diglett's Cave is an iconic Vermilion City landmark, while Sandshrew is found all over the place. Plus, thanks to Magnezone's 4x weakness, Dugtrio still has a good chance to maintain its advantage, even though it's 110 base stat points weaker.
Damn.
Feels like to me, instead of 2 different forms/counterparts, it should have gotten an evolution. Like, Wugtrio? And not Digging Trio? As for the water type, I'm going with Horsey. You can fish it up both in Vermilion City and Route 11.
I'd be down for that one like dream evolution that somebody came up, or like that one evolution for Dugtrio that somebody had a dream about, Dugstruction. I would be perfectly okay with that.
Plus find it sea skimming on the ladder in Gen 7. The only downside is that Kingdra's dragon typing removes its weakness to electric. But like I said, we cannot make everything perfect. And like I mentioned, I want to hold on to some of those water types for a later town. Therefore, these 3 are your Vermilion starters. Next is Lavender Town, a solemn, quiet town. People come to visit their departed Pokemon. So there's an immediately obvious choice here. It's clearly Ghastly. This 3-stage Pokemon swarms the Pokemon Tower. There's no chance the citizens of this creepy town would avoid using the region's only ghost type. Ghastly is perfect, and yet a major problem. The only type triangle that features Ghost is Ghost, Ghost, Ghost. Now that would be super fun, but this is Kanto. So Ghastly is all we've got. So we could go for one with Poison, but that also doesn't work nicely. It's only...
I wonder if he's gonna do this for other regions or anything, because we're halfway through this video and he's only at Lavender Town. So that's definitely isn't gonna cover everywhere. Just Kanto, it looks like.
Only type triangle is Poison, Grass, Ground, which is a perfect one, and we have an ideal ground type, Cubone. Like Ghastly, it spawns in the tower every time it exists. 2 issues though. First, Ghastly and Haunter are immune to ground due to Levitate, so the matchup isn't fair until the final evolution. Now I could overlook this, but we have an even bigger problem. There aren't any grass types near Lavender Town. Yes, some do appear on Route 12 to the south, but all the way at the end of it, past the Snorlax spot. And yes, you do get the Pokeflute in Lavender Town, but what random citizen is going to intentionally awaken a violent Snorlax that clearly likes to nap there? End of Route 12 is just too far for the regular Lavender people. I spent more time thinking about Lavender Town than any other city in this video. And here's what I ended up deciding. We're going to almost complete a type triangle. We're gonna make a type V. Ghastly and Cubone are starters. They are thematically perfect. As for the last member, it'll be Jigglypuff. Don't worry about Igglybuff, doesn't exist. Jigglypuff appears on Route 8 to the west of town in Gens 1, 2, and 7. And thanks to its fairy typing, it is weak to poison. So if we just skip over the Levitate issue and go to the final forms, Marowak's Ground beats Gengar's Poison that beats Wigglytuff's Fairy. The triangle does not complete, but we have two of the three legs. Best we can do without grass. Also, Gengar does have quite the base stat total advantage in the final forms. But again, just don't worry about that. We, like the locals, are just working with what we've got. Let's once again sneak under Saffron and pop.
Also, if we assume nobody there has access to... Wait, I guess people can trade with each other and evolve each other's Haunters into Gengar, so... I was gonna say, if they don't have access to trading, then locking it to Haunter might actually make it reasonable, but yeah, no. They could just trade with each other, so... Yeah, no, I feel like everybody would be picking Ghastly for that reason.
Up at Celadon City, a rich, rainbow-colored city where people and Pokemon gather.
It's also too bad that there's no way to get, like, a Alolan Marowak in, you know, a Kanto game. Because, you know, Let's Go was after SMUSUM, you know, so, like, or, Smoosum, I guess you could call it. Somebody's gonna... Nah, never mind. Anyway, what the fuck is that? Oh, wait, okay. That's actually really cool. Is that from the anime? That is really cool. But anyway, you know, Smoosum came, or, Usmusum. No, I had it the first time. Smoosum came out before Let's Go. So, there is a Kanto game that came out after Alola, and by extension Alolan Marowak, already existed. But I'm not sure you can get Alolan Marowak in Let's Go. Yeah, I know you can get a bunch of other Alolan like variants, but like say Alolan Vulpix, Alolan Grimer, etc. But I don't believe there's any way to get Alolan Marowak. So if you can find a way to make that work, then Ghost. Actually, still wouldn't work because, you know, even in Kanto, I don't think any other Kanto Pokemon have ever been given regional. Wait, Annihilate. Wait, shit, no. Fuck, man. There's... Yeah, Paul, like, Annihilate, maybe, if somehow we allow Primeape to evolve into Annihilate in Kanto. But there would have to be a game where that happens. Or a game that takes place, or at least features Kanto. That came out after Annihilate was already a thing. There's potential there. There's potential there. Will Pokemon ever do anything with it? Probably not. But there is potential.
Rainbow, huh? Like Erica's rainbow badge. Many colors bursting out from a bland, colorless center. Wait a second. Colorless. In the TCG, that includes normal types. Oh. So one normal thing surrounded by many colorful things springing forth from it. That's just like Castform! Just kidding, it's Eevee. Eevee should be the Celadon City starter. And in fact, the only one. Eevee is...
If he does another one of these videos for Hoenn, I guarantee he's gonna do that unironically. Have Castform be the starter for, or at least a starter for, like, whichever city you get Castform near. I know you don't get it in a city, but it's like that Weather Institute is near somewhere, so I guarantee he's gonna make Castform this a starter, maybe even the starter for whichever city that is, because I think its BST is higher than many first form evolutions, but that BST is precisely where it stays forever because it doesn't evolve into anything. So yeah.
It's inextricably tied to Celadon City. In generations 1 and 3, the only Eevee is found atop the Celadon condominiums, simply sitting there within what seems to be a small-scale trainer school with a particularly arrogant teacher. In Gens 2 and 4, Eevee is a gift from Bill and Goldenrod over in Johto, but you can get more at the Celadon City Game Corner. I don't know where they're getting them, but the people of Celadon City clearly have exceptional access to this Pokemon.
I mean, Bill has it, so potentially, you know, breeding programs or something.
Wait a second. Colorless. In the TCG, that includes normal types.
Okay, I wasn't kidding earlier when I said I had to leave, and so now it is about 10 hours later. This video has literally taken me all day to react to. I went back a little bit, not for any artistic reason or whatever you want to say, just because I couldn't quite remember what timestamp we were at, and just to be safe, I figured I'd play back a little bit through it again. But yeah, I went to work. I went to my day job, and before I left, I set my computer to, like, you know, update and shut down and everything. And then I come back home, I start turning it on, and it just takes forever to boot up for some reason. I think my hard drive or whatever, like my main drive on this thing might be starting to die. At least that's what I've heard. Might be the cause of that. I don't know. It could be a few things, I feel like, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, let's continue.
So one normal thing, surrounded by many colorful things springing forth from it. That's just like Test Form! Just kidding, it's Eevee.
Like I remember saying earlier, if he ever does a video like this for Gen 3 for Hoenn, I guarantee Castform's going to be his answer for at least one of them. If anything, actually, Castform might be just a little overpowered for that early in the game. Like, because Castform's stats, I believe, are like mid at best. Like, you can, like, it's useful like early mid game to like maybe mid to late mid game. It's not a good Pokemon. Even he admits it's not a good Pokemon. But like I could see the potential as like a starter, maybe as like a tutorial thing to, you know, help new players like get a grasp of like how weather works and like how it can affect battles and stuff like that. That'd be interesting as a cute little tutorial thing. But like it's not making it past mid game at best.
Eevee should be the Celadon City starter. And in fact, the only one. Eevee is inextricably tied to Celadon City. In generations 1 and 3, the only Eevee is found atop the Celadon condominiums, simply sitting there within what seems to be a small-scale trainer school with a particularly arrogant teacher. In Gens 2 and 4, Eevee is a gift from Bill and Goldenrod over in Johto, but you can get more at the Celadon City Game Corner. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Bill does give you Eevee in the Johto games. I remember earlier when I watched this, because this is like about the exact moment that I stopped earlier, but if not like maybe 30 seconds after this, but for some reason when he mentioned Bill earlier, I assumed that he meant like going to Bill's house in the Kanto portion of the game. And so like you wouldn't get Eevee until very, 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 very late in the game. But that wouldn't make any sense because it was a generation where they introduced, you know, Espeon and Umbreon And like, what I'm thinking of is the elemental stones. That's right. That's right. In the original game, I think you could only get a firestone, waterstone, or thunderstone from, I think, Bill's grandfather back in Bill's house in Kanto. So basically, until well in the post game, you can't even get any of the original evolutions, only the new ones. Heart Gold and Soul Silver have ways around this. Very, very convenient. Well, as convenient as I can make it without just putting a bunch of new shit everywhere. But yeah, trying to, if you wanted Vaporeon or Jolteon, because like let's be real, Flareon has great attack stat, but in Gen 2, it wasn't going to be using it. It just wasn't. Fire was still just a special type, and I don't think it even learned that many good physical moves to make use of that attack stat. It just was not worth using Flareon in earlier days, from what I understand. Flareon, it wasn't until like the last couple gens that Flareon really started becoming actually decent, from what I understand. It was even after the physical specials, but it just wasn't learning anything good, so...
Know where they're getting them, but the people of Celadon City clearly have exceptional access to this Pokemon. It could be because of Route 17. In Let's Go, you cannot get Eevee in Celadon due to its starter role in Let's Go Eevee, but you can find it wild on Route 17, part of the former cycling road. This is the only place Eevee has ever been wild in Kanto.
Which is weird because I could be wrong about this, but I don't know if it's possible to find wild Pikachus. Although you would have to be able to find wild Pikachu, actually, because otherwise you just wouldn't be able to get Raichu at all, would you?
Don't worry about the Snorlax. I know I said that was like a big problem for the people of Lavender trying to go south on Route 12 to get the grass types down there. But like, the Celadon people have other resources, I guess.
I have to fudge some things to make everything work, okay? Additionally, the Celadon department store sells water, fire, and thunderstones.
Oh, true.
So instead of choosing one of 3 Pokemon, new trainers would just always get Eevee, then choose which stone to use. Exactly what Blue does in Yellow version. Jolteon, Vaporeon, and Flareon don't form a type triangle, but like the Lavender starters, they're 2/3 of the way there. Although I suppose one could choose to not use a stone and end up with one of these 3.
Huh.
And then there's also the Leaf Stone and Ice Stone, and you know, Ice Stone's not really there, but like the Leaf Stone you could get, and if it's the modern mechanics, where that's how you get Leafeon. I'm a little worried this is getting kind of too main character energy. I mean, you know, Eevee has actually been a starter before more than once.
He's doing it again.
But you know, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. And we're just gonna, let's now cycle down.
Wait, hold on. What did that say? What did that say? Was it, no, it wasn't that one.
It's okay. And we're just gonna,
okay, that's enough of that, is what that said. Oh my god. Yeah, it's there for like a frame. Or maybe a couple frames. I don't know. It's almost like an edit I would make. In one of the Dragon Quest 3 videos, there's an edit. There was something I put in there for one singular frame of that entire thing. Even I don't remember what it was, and I would notice it barely when I would, if like, I haven't really watched those videos since they came out. I would sometimes watch them like pre-release, but like I watched just like the private videos before they were officially published or whatever. But yeah, even I remember in one of the later videos, I put in an edit that was only like one frame. It was one single frame, and I swear I remember when I edited it. I thought it was the funniest shit. I don't remember what that edit was at all. I have no memory of what that edit was, but I remember it being really funny.
Let's now cycle down
In all but Gen 7.
to Fuchsia City, a historic village that has become new. Okay, cool. Anyways, it's Safari Zone time, baby!
Oh, interesting.
It is only in Gens 1 and 3, but that's all I need. The perfect Fuchsia City starter trio will be from the Safari Zone. Although
It's a decent amount of options, really good ones at that. You start with something from the Safari Zone, you're breaking the game. Yeah, there's like Scyther, I believe, is in there. I believe that's the only place you can get Dratini in the wild. Kangaskhan, which I've never used Kangaskhan. Is Kangaskhan good? I know it has its fans. And I understand, I think I understand Mega Kangaskhan is pretty solid. Or at least I feel like I've heard that, but I don't know. I've never run Kangaskhan. I feel like it's just never been especially available in any of the games that I've played. Because even if you could get it, and I'm not gonna go into anything about like Dexit or DLCs or anything like that, because I have a very hot take about that one. I have a solar hot take about that, but I'm not gonna get into that here. That will be its own video essay. That is almost certainly gonna probably sound like clickbait. My take on that is as hot as it is. But anyway, the most of the games that I've played, which is basically all of them since like Gen 4, at least one version of each game since Gen 4, I want to say. And technically at least one since like Gen 3 now, because I've actually I have Coliseum and XD, which is funny. I bought those years ago at a retro game store before they were like hot commodities that are super expensive. So I think I got them for like 30-40 bucks each. Where now they go on eBay for like well over 100, I'm pretty sure. And I don't and in hindsight, I mean, I already didn't regret that purchase because I do love those games, but like I super don't regret that purchase now because those games are really expensive, and a lot of people might have. I can only imagine whoever traded those games into that retro game store that I bought them from. It wasn't really retro at the time. I mean, this was during the Wii days, so that would have only been the previous gen, the previous console generation. But I bet whoever traded those games in back then is really kicking themselves now. But anyway, the if you count those, then I guess I have played at least one version of almost every generation since Gen 3, technically. I've still never played Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald at all. I played Omega Ruby, but I never played original Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. If I was going to play any of those games, it'd probably be Emerald at this point, but yeah. But anyway. No games that I've ever played have ever had Kangaskhan be especially accessible, I want to say. It's either just not there and you have to transfer it in from somewhere else, or like I could just never find it, and even when or if I do, I just maybe catch it for the decks, but not really use it or anything. I don't even know where you find it most of the time. I know that in like Kanto, it's in the Safari Zone. End of sentence. But yeah, I've never run Kangaskhan. I don't know if Kangaskhan is any good. I don't I really don't know. But I've been yapping for long enough, so.
Oh, I do have to immediately eliminate many of the most iconic Safari Zone Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I was literally just talking about this. Yeah, no, Tauros as a starter would be absurd. Because like Tauros wasn't Tauros like one of the fastest Pokemon in the entirety of Gen 1? Like I think it was like Electrode, Jolteon, Tauros were like the top 3. And in Gen 1 that mattered a lot more. I mean, it already matters. Like, being fast matters. Being fast is, like, arguably the most important stat in the whole game, but, in the whole meta. But back then, it super mattered because that was when, critical hits were tied to your speed stat. so Tauros was fast enough to get crits, I think like a fifth of the time, which is insane. Jolteon speed stat, I believe, was high enough to get crits just under a quarter of the time, and then Electrode was fast enough to get them to like just over a quarter of the time, like 27% or something like that. And Jolteon was like 24%. Like, and getting that many crits that often is unreal. They had to. That was one of the many things that they had to fix immediately when Gen 2 came out. There's a number of weird bugs that didn't get fixed until much later, but that was one of the things that was like, yeah, no, this shit needs to be fixed now.
Not only are they far too strong to be starters, but they are exceedingly rare. The Prodigy protagonist struggles to find and catch these Pokemon. The regular citizens have no chance. We need common, easy-to-catch Safari Zone Pokemon. And oh boy, this worked out perfectly. First is Rhyhorn. In Gens 1 and 3, which remember are the only gens in which the Safari Zone exists, it is exclusive to the Safari Zone. It's also an ideal thematic fit. It's a Rhino. You see those on Safari. Next is Execute. Just like Rhyhorn, exclusive to the Safari Zone, mostly. It also shows up in the Berry Forest in Gen 3, but that's not technically in Kanto. And while egg-like seeds don't evoke safari imagery as effectively as a rhinoceros, Executor as a tree kind of does. There are fun trees on Safari. And would you look at that? We not only have 2 members of a triangle, but we have 3 options for how to complete it. Grass Ground Poison, Grass Rock Bug, or Grass Rock Flying. I'm personally out on Grass Ground Poison though, despite it being perfect. While the Nidorans are plentiful in the Safari Zone, they're also plentiful elsewhere. And Execute's Psychic type eliminates their intended advantage. Grass Rock Bug is also not a great fit, since after eliminating Scyther and Pinsir, the bug options are Venonat, weak to Psychic, or Paris, also a grass type. Therefore, we're going with Grass Rock Flying, and we have the perfect final member, Doduo. Doduo is not exclusive to the Safari Zone, but it's found on the way. It's also thematically great. These things run around just like ostriches. This is a perfect Safari trio, which can be seen even outside Kanto. All 3 are found together in Blueberry Academy's Savannah biome. And as the cherry on top, if you limit access to the Protector, then all 3 are 2-stage evolutions, which is not my preferred 3-stage, but they would all be on even footing. Rhyhorn, Execute, and Doduo are the perfect Fuchsia starters.
Are they even like similar base stat totals? They might be. I don't have my phone on me right now, so I can't check that. But and I'm not about to open the the browser thing with the video up. So yeah, but yeah, they might actually be similar BSTs. So it would work out.
Now it's finally time for Saffron City, the biggest city in Kanto, shining with a golden light,
which is not visible in this image.
This turned out to be kinda tough. I thought of pollution Pokemon like Grimer and Coughing, but they aren't actually found anywhere nearby. Closest is in Celadon City, but that is its own city. I also thought, big city, technology, it has the magnet train, so lots of electricity, but electric type Pokemon are also not really present. Pikachu, Voltorb, and Electabuzz are nowhere close. So then I looked at the
yeah, they're all at the power plant, aren't they? Which is like way to the northeast.
4 routes that border the city, and they're just full of Pokemon found all over Kanto, and in fact have a ton of overlap with each other. In short, Saffron doesn't really have any unique wild Pokemon. It's too big, too central, too ubiquitous. But that might actually be its charm. Think about some of the wild animals you would most commonly see in the middle of a big city. Pigeons, rats, and stray cats. Now let's look at the Pokemon that show up on routes 5 through 8, the ones that surround Saffron.
Oh.
Pidgey, Rattata, and Meowth appear widely on all 4.
So it would probably just be an all-normal trio. You know, it's weird that the purple coloring on Rattata always makes me think it's supposed to be poison type, or maybe like evolve into a poison type, but no, it has never been poison type.
Gen 1, ignoring version exclusivity, all 3 appear on all 4 routes. This is how most regular people in a big city would catch Pokemon. They wouldn't go through the Fighting Dojo trials, they would just step out their front door and catch something that they see. Now, of course, these 3 do not form a type triangle, but having 3 normal types is the only way a pure normal Pokemon could ever become a starter.
Meowth is never dual type, is it? Because Alolan Meowth, I believe, is just dark type, and then Galarian Meowth is fighting type, right? I don't think it's ever dual type. Huh.
At least in a balanced way, since normal is not strong against anything. Also, unfortunately, Pidgey is the only one with 3 stages, but nothing we can do about that. I actually would have preferred Spearow, so they'd all be 2-stage, but it doesn't show up nearby. It's far from perfect logistically, but it is perfect thematically. And I'm finding that in a lot of cases, I care about that more. And if you've watched this far into the video, you're probably enjoying it, so if you want to see more of my videos, you should subscribe. It's a great signal to YouTube to have it show you more of my videos. And also, I would appreciate it. Our last location is Cinnabar Island, not the Indigo Plateau. It is not a town, it is a place of business. Like Arlington, Texas.
What?
Coming to bed, honey?
Yes, dear.
Cinnabar Island's blurb is, a town used to be here.
I have never been to Texas. So if I'm laughing that hard at that, I can only imagine how hard somebody from Texas would be laughing at that.
Until it was swept away by an eruption. Ooh, yikes. Let me just back up in time there a little bit. The town at the foot of a volcano. The Pokemon Mansion is located here. Ooh. Okay. Much better. Let's just move forward under the assumption that everything is fine.
The weird thing is, like, Cinnabar Island is shown having a volcano in a lot of the artwork, but it has never had a volcano in the actual games. I mean, you can kind of see the crater a little bit of the caldera, because that's what happens after a volcano erupts, right? It goes extinct. That's what the official term is, extinction for a volcano, I believe. I could be wrong about that. I've also never lived in/near a place with a volcano, so my knowledge on that is very limited. But I feel like I remember reading that somewhere that after a volcano erupts, it dies effectively and goes extinct. I don't know why they're calling it extinction. That's not how extinction works, but whatever. Anyway, and yeah, you can kind of see like the remaining caldera of the volcano, but it's like there wasn't even like a mountainous landmass in Gen 1. There was nowhere for a volcano to be, let alone anywhere for it to erupt and destroy everything, supposedly.
Cinnabar is Kanto's only island settlement, and it's not a very big one. The Fossil Revival Lab is here, but the fossils themselves are far away. Pallet and the Seafoam Islands are not crazy far, but they're not accessible without a boat, surfing Pokemon, or exceptional aquatic athletic ability. So many just couldn't get there. And if they could get to Pallet, then they would just get the regular Pallet starters from Professor Oak. The only wild Pokemon one can find locally on Cinnabar either dwell in the sea or in the ruins of the Pokemon Mansion. Now, the mansion does have some intriguing fire types, especially Magmar, who'd realistically be scaled down to Magby as a starter, but the type triangles with fire require types that Cinnabar does not have. Plus, I doubt most people would care to enter a decrepit, abandoned mansion overrun by criminals. That's also probably stinky.
I could possibly see it as like some kind of teenager hazing ritual or something, but otherwise, yeah, no, I agree with him. If my if my starting like, or if my entryway to being a Pokemon trainer was to go into this old abandoned mansion with who fucking knows what in it, I think I'll just stick to being like, I don't know, an accountant or something. I'm not an accountant, but like I'd probably just do something like that, just like a regular desk job or something, if I can get it over that.
In short, I don't believe a type triangle is possible here. So let's take a page from Saffron's book. Earlier, I talked about how Vermilion is a port town, so it needed a water starter. Cinnabar takes that to a whole new level. It is surrounded by the ocean. No other Kanto city is this connected to the water. And especially considering all the other limitations, I believe the Cinnabar starters should be a trio of water-type Pokemon. Tentacool, Staryu, Krabby, and Shelder are my top candidates. All four can be found simply by fishing off the shore of Cinnabar in at least one game. There are some others, but some I've already used or eliminated, while others feel more like river or lake Pokemon to me, even if they aren't literally. All four candidates are two-stage Pokemon, but Krabby is the only one to not have a secondary type in its final form. However, if I go with the other three, Starmie ends up with an advantage over Tentacruel, unbalancing things. Realistically, the Cinnabar trainers would probably just choose from all four. But if I must narrow it down to three, the Cinnabar starters are Shelder, Staryu, and Krabby. They're all pure water type in their base form, while Tentacool is not. Plus, this avoids the messy Starmie Tentacruel matchup.
Yeah, so just have them all be equal with each other if you can't have any kind of type triangle. I mean, the another quote-unquote logical conclusion would be to just, you know, move Pokemon from somewhere else over there, but like, I feel like that would be something to entertain if they ever actually did that in a game and had precedent for it, but until that happens, that would be fan fiction more than anything.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more installments in the other regions, well, to be blunt, it's going to depend on how well this video does. I have employees, so gotta be strategic. And if you want to see another one of my videos reimagining the starter choices, then check out my video if you could pick a starter Pokemon from every type.
Which I would react to. Oh my god, I paused it at the last possible second of the video. So yeah, that's the end of the video, literally. And I would react to that one if I hadn't already seen it, so it would just be pre-watched to hell and back. But yeah. Absolutely go follow or go subscribe to MandJTV. Fantastic YouTuber. Highly recommend his Team Sky stuff. Honestly gotta be some of the best content on this website, if I'm being completely honest. It is absolutely magical in every possible capacity. I had a great time reacting to this. I really held back from watching it on my own time, just because I wanted to do this. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I hope that my borderline unhinged ramblings brought some kind of enjoyment to you. And yeah, like, be sure to go like the original video. Have I liked that? I have not liked the video yet. I'm going to like the video here. There, you have video evidence of me doing that. There we go. And yeah, be sure to like the original video because I would love to see more of this stuff myself. But yeah, like I said, go watch his channel. It's really good. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. This recording by itself is 30 minutes long. So I might cut around some of the rambling and yapping. We'll see, but yeah. I had a great time doing this. I hope you enjoyed watching me react to him. And I will hopefully catch you next time. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And take care.